Hola y un saludo a todos los estudiantes que están en la clase de español 111. Soy el profesor Antón García Fernández. As you are no doubt aware, in-person classes have been canceled at the university for the remainder of the semester. So this video is part of the contingency plan to turn in-person classes into online classes. And today we're going to be talking briefly about the vocabulary for the family, la familia. You can find this vocabulary on pages 110 and 111 in the book, páginas 110 y 111 en el libro. Vocabulario sobre la familia. Repitan conmigo. Please repeat after me. El padre, la madre, el hijo, la hija, that's son and daughter, el hermano, la hermana, that is brother and sister, el abuelo, la abuela, that is grandfather and grandmother, el nieto, la nieta, that is grandson and granddaughter, el tío, la tía, uncle and aunt, el primo, la prima, male and female cousin, el sobrino, la sobrina, nephew and niece, el esposo, la esposa, husband and wife, el novio, la novia, boyfriend and girlfriend, soltero, soltera, masculine and feminine for single, el bisabuelo, la bisabuela, great-grandfather, great-grandmother. As you can see, in many cases in Spanish, we don't have completely different words for these pairs, but we just change the ending. For example, hijo, son, hija, daughter. Note that in English it's a completely different word, but in Spanish all we do is we change the masculine and feminine ending. Let's read these again. El padre, la madre, el hijo, la hija, el hermano, la hermana, el abuelo, la abuela, el nieto, la nieta, el tío, la tía, el primo, la prima, el sobrino, la sobrina, el esposo, la esposa, el novio, la novia, soltero, soltera, el bisabuelo, la bisabuela. These are, for now, the most basic family words that we're going to be looking at this semester. There are more, of course, but these are the most basic ones that I want you to be familiar with. Now we are going to do a little work with these new words regarding the family by using a family tree, el árbol genealógico. I have a family tree right here that I'm going to show you. I hope you can see it. You can always freeze the video for a little bit, pause it to become familiar with this family tree, which is based loosely on my own family. As you can see, I am right there, Antón. Okay, so, ¿quién es Antonio? ¿Quién es Antonio? Antonio es el padre de Antón. ¿Quién es Erin? Erin es la esposa de Antón. ¿Quién es Pedro? Pedro es el primo de Antón. ¿Quién es Libby? Libby es la hija de Antón. ¿Quién es María? María es la abuela de Antón. ¿Quién es Sara? Sara es la tía de Antón. ¿Quién es Noah? Noah es la hermana de Antón. Now, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you should answer these questions following more or less the same pattern that I just was using. For example, ¿quién es Erin? Erin es la esposa de Antón. Here we go. ¿Quién es Ana? Ana es la prima de Antón. ¿Quién es Luis? Luis es el abuelo de Antón. ¿Quién es Alberto? Alberto es el tío de Antón. ¿Quién es Noah? Noah es la hermana de Antón. By looking at this family tree now, you can, if you want, pause the video, and try to write any sentences that come to mind based on the relationships that are portrayed in this family tree, en el árbol genealógico. Now, one thing that is important to talk about when we're talking about family in Spanish is that if you refer to both the male and the female, you have to use the masculine plural. This is something we've talked about. It's the way the grammar in Spanish works. So, if we want to talk about el padre y la madre together, we need to say los padres. If we want to talk about el hijo y la hija together, then we need to say los hijos. If we want to talk about the brother and the sister together, in that case, in English, it would be something like siblings, then we need to say los hermanos. We need to use the masculine plural. And there is a certain degree of ambiguity here, because when we say los hermanos, we don't know if we are referring only to male brothers or if we're referring to both brothers and sisters. In any case, if you use the feminine plural, then you are referring only to the female counterparts. So, for example, if we say las primas, we are only referring to female cousins. If we say las hermanas, we are only referring to sisters. Remember, this is the way that Spanish grammar works when it comes to gender and number, and the family follows, of course, that same pattern. And in order to finish this video about the family, I will give you a couple of cultural pieces of information here regarding the way that people in Spain relate to names and last names and such things. People in Spain, just like myself, usually have two last names. The first last name is the first last name of the father, And the second last name is the first last name of the mother. You put it together, and then you have the last name of the son or the daughter. So in my case, my name is Profesor Antón García Fernández. Antón, of course, is my name. García is the first last name of my father. And Fernández is the first last name of my mom. Put it together, and you have my last name. Now, only siblings, therefore, share exactly the same last name. For example, the name of my sister is Noa García Fernández, so she has exactly the same last name as I do, but I don't have, and she doesn't have exactly the same last name as my father or my mother, simply a mixture of both. The law allows people now to decide if they want to use the first last name of the mother first or the first last name of the father first, which in the past was not the case. In the past, we used to use the first last name of the father first and then the first last name of the mother second. Another thing that is quite different, although of course this is changing in the United States a little bit, is that when women get married in Spain, they never change their last names. They never take on the last name of their husbands. They keep their maiden names. And then, of course, part of that maiden name is used to make up the last name of the kids. So as you can see, that is quite different in Spain and here in the United States, and that's one of the reasons why, when you think about it, my last name is so long, because in reality it's not just one last name, but the mixture of the first last name of my father and the first last name of my mother. Now, before I forget, I would like you to go to the book. All this information, as I said before, is in the book on pages 110 and 111. This is the book that we use in the class, as you know, the 7th edition of Arriba, okay? And I would like you to go to page 111 in the book, página 111, and you should do exercise 4.1, ejercicio 4.1. Then go to page 112, página 112, and do exercise 4.2, ejercicio 4.2, which should help you review a little bit this vocabulary about the family, la familia, that we have seen in this video. Como siempre, muchas gracias por su atención. Se despide el profesor Antón García Fernández.